Welcome to a bonus episode of Sistery History. While there is tea, there is hope. Well, that's what playwright Arthur Wing Pinheiro tells us. And as tea lovers, we won't be arguing with him. We visited the Horniman Museum in London to learn about the history of the humble cuppa. But perhaps humble isn't quite the right word, as you don't have to look far to uncover the extent of the restorative powers that tea is reputed to hold. Philosopher Bernard Paul Hérault once said, "There is no trouble so great or grave that cannot be much diminished by a nice cup of tea." A bold claim indeed, but pretty clear in its meaning. Tea makes things better. The Horniman's small but fascinating exhibition, Cha Chai Tea, runs until the 7th of July 2024 and is free to visit. Here, aided by cups of tea of course, we talk about a few of our favourite things. Laura, I believe you're going first today.
I am, yes.
And what do you have?
I'm going to talk about the tea caddy in relation to smell.
Okay.
I found out something quite fun after we went to the exhibition. The word caddy comes from the Chinese word catty. Can you guess what the catty refers to?
Not a cat.
No.
Being mean to someone.
No. One more try.
Carrying something.
Sort of. That's your closest yet.
Okay.
It's a unit of measurement, 1 Chinese pound, equivalent to roughly 600 grams, and that's the unit that tea was sold in.
I did not know that.
Aha. The English adopted this and then started to use it to refer to the container within which they kept their teas.
Fine, yeah, makes sense.
Interesting. Now, the tea caddy you can see in the picture isn't particularly ornate or intricate. It's just a box in the exhibition. The purpose of it in the exhibition is for you to smell the aromas. But in reality, tea caddies were very intricate. They were very elaborate. The first ones that were introduced were of very fine materials, hardwoods, tortoiseshell, pewter, porcelain, that sort of thing. They were very high quality items with embellishments of ebony and ivory. They were expensive, and tea was very expensive as well. Very nice to touch, but I'm not going to talk about touch, of course. The thing that all of the tea caddies share, elaborate or not, wooden or not, is that they are airtight.
Right, okay.
They are airtight because they need to preserve the taste of the tea, but also the smell of the tea, right? Which can be a very strong smell. We noticed that the caddies on display in the exhibitions, do you remember, they were disseminating very strong smells?
Yes, there were 2 that you could open and waft.
Yes, one was green teas.
Yes.
One was black teas.
Yes.
I think the black teas smelt stronger.
Yes, we did a test, didn't we?
We did.
I can't remember the results.
Okay, I've got them here. And we will patent this, the tea waft test.
Okay.
So person A stood away from the closed caddy, basically as far back as you could get, really. Person B went and opened the caddy lid, and then we timed how long it took for person A to be able to smell the tea. We are pleased to report that the wafts travelled an impressive 5 metres in only 10 seconds.
I forgot we did this. Yeah.
So that's, I think, quite a long way, isn't it?
But was that the black tea or the green tea?
That was the black tea. The green tea was slightly longer. Not much, though. But it's interesting, isn't it, that it's that powerful a smell.
I love the smell of tea. And is the keeping it airtight... I know you said it was to keep it fresh, but it's also to keep the smell in.
Yeah.
Because the smell is important.
The smell is important, so it's not just the taste of the tea, but I think they both work in conjunction, don't they, to create the tea experience.
All that we can say for sure after our experiment is that tea wafts at 5 metres per 10 seconds.
Roughly, depending on how often the caddy had been opened previously. This will be written up and I'm sure published very shortly.
Science Weekly will be in contact.
Yeah.
Moving swiftly on, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I want to talk about tea bricks.
Okay.
Did you see this part of the exhibit?
I didn't linger over it.
Did you not?
No.
I thought it was fascinating. Tea bricks, which I didn't know existed, are made by pressing dried, ground tea leaves into moulds. And you can press them into different shape moulds, circles, around the size of a dinner plate maybe, or...
The size of a dinner plate, did you just say? That's enormous.
Yeah, but also rectangles, squares, any shape you want can be pressed. And about an inch thick, these tea bricks were. You don't build with them.
No, that would be silly.
But you can use them as currency.
What?
And they were used as currency.
You can't fit many of them in a wallet.
Well, this is what got me thinking. But we're going to consider slightly cheating sight and taste here.
Ah, double.
Double whammy. Hope that's okay.
Yeah.
The tea was pressed into these moulds, and then the effect would be pictures or words or even messages.
Oh, so you'd have a relief on the top of the brick.
On the top of the brick, exactly. Now, I've got examples of a few that were in the exhibition. There's a lovely round one with some frolicking in a field.
Nice.
And then there's a message on this rectangular one. And then finally, this one for the Russian market is very, very highly decorated. Would you have any idea that that is tea?
No, it looks a bit like metal or a dark, heavy hardwood.
Yeah, but it's not. It's tea.
It's just tea. And they were used as currency, but also people would communicate with these. So not just like writing a letter between two friends or something.
Oh,
this is
no.
to impart some sort of more general message to...
Like health or best wishes, that kind of message. You wouldn't say, all right, Dave, I'm sending you some tea. I guess you could, but that's not predominantly what they were used for. This is a very versatile commodity. You could have the name of the tea indented on it, for example. It's quite nice also to be able to eat money. So I guess if you didn't have any food to buy, it's fine. I've got some money, I can just eat that. Or brew that up.
Tasty.
It's very practical.
Yes.
And then it got me thinking, that's why I wanted to talk about taste. That got me thinking about how weird it is to be able to taste money. Taste a currency.
I've got such a strange image in my head of people eating enormous blocks of tea the size of dinner plates.
Well, it's healthy. It does have health benefits. You could eat it, you could brew it, or you could spend it. I mean, you can't say that about much.
Do we know what denominations it came in?
No, but there were indentations in the brick so you could snap bits off.
Oh.
Either for passing on, maybe as lower denominations of currency.
Wow.
Or for snapping a bit off and taking it and eating it or whatever.
Yeah, so maybe a whole block was a 10 and then you could break it into 10 individual pieces.
Very easy to transport. But I guess, like you said, you can't fit many in your wallet because the rectangular ones that we saw in the exhibition, they're about the size of a good book. So, yeah, you're not going to get many stuffed into your purse, are you?
No.
Or your bum bag. But also, on the sight side of things, you've got the name, potentially, you've got the message, you've got the decoration. You might be able to know what kind of tea it is just from the shape and size of the tea brick. So if you were perhaps trading with somebody who wasn't literate, then you could identify, oh, this is this tea from this region because it's a round brick.
Maybe
or
if you were partially sighted or you couldn't see anything, you could feel
the shape. Exactly, perfect. So these were used as currency in China, Mongolia, Russia, and other countries until the early 1900s.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
So Laura, I believe you're going to lead us with our final shared item from the exhibition.
And we are diverting slightly from tea, but there is a link, which I'll explain. We have the opium smoker's box for our final exhibit.
We were both drawn to this.
We were.
Turns out we do love a boxed set.
Yes, for travelling.
Yeah. For all your opium needs.
So opium, which was in use as early as 3400 BC, would you believe, with the Sumerians referring to opium as the joy plant. So they clearly liked it. But it was associated with thinkers and scholars, poets, that sort of thing, much like tea was when it was first introduced.
Right.
So refined society, the artistic, the creative, that sort of thing. So it wasn't insalubrious or seedy as it came to be seen in some areas later on. And also it was used medicinally, which is a good get-out clause for later on when they wanted to decriminalise it. But anyway, if we look at this opium smoker's box, you'll see that it's quite intricate and ornate. It's got the dimensions of, would you say, maybe a decent sized double toaster? Maybe a bit bigger?
4 pieces of bread.
Yeah, but thicker rather than longer.
Yes.
You see what I mean? So quite boxy
Yeah,
in
I
its
agree.
dimensions, yeah. And there are little drawers in it. There are little tools that come with it. So it's clearly quite a convoluted process that we need to go through to be smoking the opium.
Yeah.
You know?
You can't just light up a cigarette, can you?
No. You know, it takes some effort.
Yeah.
We're really going to commit if you want this to be your hobby.
Well, it's a ceremony, isn't it? There's a ceremony to it.
Yeah, there is, much like a tea ceremony, which we would see in Japan and other countries.
We're considering touch, aren't we, here?
Yes, we are considering touch. I think it would be really nice. The first thing I looked at and I thought touch would be, you can see the handle on top of the box.
Yeah.
So once all of your tools are stored away nicely, you've closed all your little drawers, you've got your box ready to go, you pick up your handle. Yeah. Bit like a briefcase.
Yeah, you're done for the day.
Yeah, off to get the train.
I've taken my opium, I'm off now.
Yeah. And, you know, you might be able to get away with that when it did become criminalised. You know, oh no, it's just my briefcase, it's all fine.
Or you could say it's a tea caddy.
A little bit harder if you are a child, perhaps.
Why would a child be taking opium?
Well, exactly. You know, what about a teenager? They wouldn't have a briefcase.
Fair. The intriguing part of this, and I think we both agreed, were the seashells.
Yes. The description against the exhibit said that there were seashells with the box and that people would hold those while they were under the influence of the drug.
Now, we were trying to work this out, weren't we?
We were. Why people would hold seashells or indeed hold other things.
While under the influence of opium. Maybe it's just relaxing or to stop you from... Does opium make you scratchy or itchy? Or am I making that up?
I don't know.
Or is it to ground you, but then...
Well, would you want to be grounded? If you're smoking opium, you probably want to be taken out of yourself, don't you? So that occurred to me as well. Are you holding it to kind of hold on to some sort of semblance of reality? But I feel like maybe that's not what you want if you're taking opium. I like the idea of the relaxing or calming.
We did find a picture of a man stroking a cat, so maybe anything to have in your hands is beneficial.
Yeah, maybe it's just something tactile.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, isn't it? There were quite a lot of them.
Yes, different types as well. Not just flat shells, some conical ones, some whatever that shape is. An odd little addition.
But I suppose once you've done your preparations, you can put all that down, close your drawers, grab your shells, you're off. So it's a really nice bit of kit, isn't it? It's beautifully made. There's obviously time been taken into producing it, producing the tools, the lovely little drawers and everything. It's good quality materials, but it's not discreet.
No.
So this isn't one to be whipping out once the criminalisation aspect kicks in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fun to hold, but do it discreetly.
Yeah, wear a big cape. Thanks for joining us today, everyone. If you get the chance, then do visit the Horniman's Tea Exhibition, which runs until the 7th of July 2024. It really is great. There's also lots to do in the other parts of the museum as well. If you liked what you heard today, then please do take the time to like, rate, subscribe or share, as it all helps new listeners to find us. Look us up on Instagram or X, or you can contact us at sisteryhistory@gmail.com. See you next time. Bye!